All right, hello everybody. Like Maria said, my name is Melanie. I'm our Director of Housing and Residential Life here at Eastern. And she says new, and I got hired 2 weeks ago, but I am far from new. I attended Eastern as a student, and I have worked here on campus for 16 years. So not my first rodeo, I'm not brand new. But I'm very excited to be here with you today. One of my very favorite things that we get to do every year is welcome new people to our family. Maria talked a little bit about the family feel on Eastern's campus, and I definitely 100% feel that. So welcome to my family, the Eastern family. We're so excited to have you here. And that goes not just for the students that are coming in, but for the parents and family members as well. Welcome, and we hope that when you leave here today, you feel not only excited, but very comfortable with having your student join us here on campus. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and talk with you a little bit about housing, but on your program, it said housing activity, I think. That's what it said on the schedule. And I don't consider it much of an activity to sit there and listen to me talk at you. So we're gonna start with a little something. It's practice for move-in day. So get ready to feel uncomfortable, because that's what being new to housing is. It's being uncomfortable at least half the time. So everybody stand up. Whoever you came here with today is someone you already know, which means you do not need to introduce yourself to them, but you do need to introduce yourself to somebody that you did not come with. So do that real quick, and when you hear me say "Go Eags," we're done. Right, go Eags. We're better than that. Go Eags. There we go. Go ahead and take a seat. I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. On Friday, I saw a lot of this. I saw most of you genuinely talking to other human beings. That's very exciting. So very good. You're off to a great start. All right. Okay, so welcome back to life on campus. I know what you're thinking. I haven't been here before. Why are you welcoming me back? But really, that welcome back is for everybody, including myself. It's been, I don't know if y'all are familiar, there was this pandemic that we've been doing, and it was weird for us here on campus. It was really hard to feel separated, because in housing, the thing we do best is togetherness. I would say the thing that Eastern does best is family and togetherness. So it's been kind of a weird time, and we're really excited, because even though there's still some stuff out there going on, in a lot of ways, we're back, and it wasn't like that necessarily all the way last year, and so we are really excited to do this with you. What we also know that means is, while moving on campus has always provided a little bit of nervousness for people coming in, there's maybe a little bit more of that now, because we're just not as used to being with each other as we used to be. So that is what we are here for. In Housing and Residential Life, it is our goal to get you connected to campus, to make sure that you feel at home, and to have an understanding that you belong and you matter here. Being a part of the Eastern family means that it truly wouldn't be the same without you. And I'm not just trying to give you lip service, like each and every one of you make up what this university is. So welcome back to life on campus. I talked with most of you that aren't familiar with the live-on requirement already this morning, but just a quick show of hands, who's gonna be living on campus? Look at you. Good job. All right. Now, for those of you who aren't going to be living on campus, I have a feeling you're going to make friends with somebody who's living on campus, and you're going to hang out in our halls anyway, so welcome. But most of you are familiar with the first-year live-on requirement, so I don't need to talk about that a whole bunch. I don't need to talk to you or try to convince you to live on campus, but I am excited in just a few minutes to share with you the reasons why you should be super pumped that you're going to be doing that. So we'll talk about that in just a second. All right, so first of all, here we go. Why you're excited to live on campus. This is really like a once-in-a-lifetime shot at doing this. I know what you're thinking, like, no, I could come back to school, I could go to college, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yes, you can do all those things. However, this is your shot to live with a huge range of people. I lived on campus for 3 years when I was a student, and then I did my senior year off campus. When I lived off campus, I hung out with the people that I already knew, and they were mostly people I had already made friends with. And that's pretty much who I saw. When you live on campus, you're going to have an opportunity to be with people that are very different from you, people that are going to go on to do amazing things just like you are. You might live down the hall from somebody from a different country. You might live down the hall from somebody who ends up being the Super Bowl MVP, like what happened to all of Cooper Kupp's floor mates last year. There are a number of things that you will get to experience just by being exposed to other people that think a little bit differently than you. And that's a good thing. Not only is that going to enrich your life, but it also makes you like super employable, which is the reason I'm guessing most of you are coming to school is so that you can get a good job. Yes, most of you are not coming like just for funsies to hang out, but you actually are hoping to get a degree. It's gonna make you some money, right? So this is also gonna help you with that. People skills are important, and there's nothing more people skilly than being able to solve problems, like figuring out, why does this person hog the shower for 30 minutes every morning when we're all getting ready for class? These are the kinds of conversations that seem silly and simple, but are awkward and uncomfortable, and guess what? My life is full of awkward and uncomfortable conversations, and I am way past living in the halls. So, this is going to make a difference in your life and who you become. Secondarily, a connection to campus and to each other. There's all kinds of research out there that shows that the more connected you feel to campus, the more likely you are to actually finish your degree. And again, same story. My guess is you actually want to leave here with that degree, not just like with a bill. Right? So the goal is not just to be like spending money for fun, but you actually want to end up getting that degree and having it mean something. And so when you get connected, you're more likely to push all the way through. We also hope that not just by living on campus, but by finding your kind of like niche here on campus, you'll be able to do that. So if you're not a person who's going to live on campus, I hope that you will hang around after class. You'll get to know some people, you'll join a club, you'll attend some events, stuff like that, because this matters. It really does. And I'm also going to say, my favorite memories of college, most of them didn't happen in a classroom. I attended some cool lectures and I learned valuable things, absolutely, absolutely. But like my favorite things, the things I remember, happened, typically between the hours of midnight and 3 or something. My parents always told me nothing good happens after midnight, but they were lying. It turns out it's fun. So a lot of the best memories happen then, and that's what we want for you. We want you to walk away from this, not just with your degree and being like a super employable rock star, but we also want you to have had the time of your life. Being able to talk about the weird stuff you did in college is great. It's so much fun. So make those memories, buy into it, be a part of it. Okay, access to campus resources. As it turns out, I'm talking about a lot of the fun stuff, but there's also hard stuff. Sometimes that may be academic, so it may be that you need a visit to our Writers Center, or you need a math tutor, or who in here is going to be in one of the pre-health majors, like you're looking to go into dental hygiene, you want to be a doctor someday, stuff like that. Chemistry is hard. And you know what's harder? A&P. The amount of things that they have to remember about the human body, like, boggle my mind. And so we have resources available to work through that. There are going to be times that your schoolwork is hard. And I know what some of you are thinking. I'm like a super good student. I'm really smart. I'm not going to need any of that. Turns out I also thought I was super smart. And then I came, and college is harder than high school. So you may need to access help sometimes. And that's okay. It's actually great for you to reach out to those people and get the most that you can out of the classes that you're taking. We can help connect you to that. We have tutors that come to the halls sometimes. We have students that are going to be living on the floor with you as staff members that have gone through the exact things that you are going through. They've taken similar classes. They can tell you, oh, take this professor. Instead, do this one. They can give you all those tips. Those are the kinds of things we want to offer you. Additionally, beyond academic resources, we have a lot of other support systems in place. So there's going to be a point in time when you're here where you're probably going to get homesick. Or something's going to be happening back home that you feel like you should be helping out with because that would be your normal role in your family, and it's going to be really hard on you that it's happening without you being there. There are hard things that happen here and away from here, and you may need to reach out. And whether that resource is just that student staff member I was talking about, the professional staff member that lives in your building, somebody in our office, or if we can get you connected to our counseling and wellness team, that means we're going to be able to help you stay here successfully. We want you to be able to succeed in the classroom, and if you're going to be able to do that, the rest of your life has to be feeling okay. It doesn't have to be great 100%, ooh, I'm so excited, but you do have to feel okay, and sometimes you won't, and that's real. So we're able to connect you to those resources. And then, like I mentioned before, we get to connect you to all of the fun. We like to think that we are the most fun and that we have tons of fun in the buildings, but we also know that we have amazing campus partners that are planning awesome events all over campus. If you're an outdoorsy person, our Epic Adventures program is amazing. They're bringing in, not the outdoors program, but the activities department is bringing in hypnotists, and we're doing all kinds of a dance, or if something more simple like a pumpkin carving contest. Whatever the case may be, there's something going on for you to check out, and we want to connect you to that. Safety. So this one, I'm guessing most of you that are the students are like, yeah, safety. And the families right now are like, yes, tell me about the safety, please. What we know here at Eastern is families, you are about to leave us with the most precious thing in your life. And you have been right alongside that person for the last however many years, 17, 18, 19, 24, whatever the case may be. You've been right alongside that person all along. And now it's like, go little bird. And we want you to know that we are here to help them and to keep them safe. The halls are locked down 24/7. You have to be a resident of that building to be able to get in, or you need to be with somebody that is a resident of that building. We have staff that does security checks, make sure that doors aren't being propped open, make sure there's no crazy chaos happening, keeping track of all of that. And then, sometimes students might make a mistake here or there. And when those mistakes get made, this is a safe place to do that. We're here to help them walk through that process and make sure that it's not a life-defining mistake. It's just something that happened. And we want to partner with you as families to help your students get through those things. In the event that something crazy were to happen on campus, we do have a fully commissioned police force, and they are around and friendly and looking to be here for our students. So please know that not just in housing, but institutionally at Eastern, your safety is at the forefront of our mind, and we are doing everything that we can to make sure that you are well taken care of. So the last thing up there is fun. And I know I've mentioned it a bunch of times, but it's because it's like a core value of mine. It's important to me that we are having fun. I really want you to leave Eastern with those great memories that I was talking about. And the best way to do that is to buy in and get involved and go and do things here on campus, make some friends, and don't be worried about feeling uncomfortable or weird. Everyone in this room is going to feel a little bit weird on move-in day. It just is not natural to be like, hello, stranger, that I sent an email to on the internet. We now live in a, let's call it, petite space together. Right? Totally normal, except that it's not. And we get that. It is weird to do that. And it's going to be uncomfortable at times, and it's a lot of new people. And I don't know about all of you, but sometimes new people are hard for me. It takes me a while. And so we get that, we know that, but I would encourage you to push through it because there's something awesome on the other side of it. Okay, so next steps. We know that you are all super excited to get housing assignments. Some of you that have turned in your application already have already received the building that you're living in and your roommate, which we'll get back to roommates because this is a big topic for everybody, but we'll get there. We know that you've received those things. If you have not applied yet, or you applied on or after June 15th, you're going to be getting your assignment soon. If you haven't applied yet, please, 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 please do that as soon as possible, because like I said, we're gonna be doing that next round of assignments in just like a week or two, and we wanna make sure that you get that so that you can know where you're gonna be, because I know that is something that feels overwhelming, is not knowing where you're gonna be. We haven't yet given out room numbers, just buildings, and the reason we do that is because things are sort of shifting throughout the summer. And what we found is people get really attached to a room because they're like, okay, I am in 319. I feel good about 319. I've got good energy about it. And then we're like, well, actually, weird stuff just happened. We have to put you in 419. And the world comes crashing down. 419 and 319 are exactly the same, just in case you're wondering. So that's why we don't give out those room numbers quite yet, because changes might happen. We don't want you to get your address changed on your Amazon account just to have your room number change, and then you have trouble getting your mail, okay? So hang tight with us. You'll get those around the beginning of September is when you'll get those the room numbers. Okay, so review your assignment and get to know your roommates. Here we are. Okay. Getting a roommate, we talked about this just a minute ago, but getting a roommate is kind of odd. You may have chosen somebody specifically. It may be somebody that you've known for years and years and years, and that might be the right fit for you. And that person might be a great roommate for you. My best friend is a wonderful person who would be a bad roommate for me. And so in order to preserve our relationship, when we came to college, we did not live together. If you are in a friendship that is going to survive living in what we called a petite space together, then that is awesome and that is great. Please, if you are in that situation, don't only hang out with each other. Make friends on the floor, make friends in class, and widen your social circle, because it's going to pay off, I promise you. One day, they are going to leave their Easy Mac in the microwave for the 1,000th time. You are gonna slam that door shut, and you're gonna need someone else's room to go cool down in for just a minute, okay? There's going to be times where it's not great. So, make those friends. Now, if you are a person who has chosen to live with somebody that you did not know ahead of time, You are a brave soul, and I dig that. Good job. It's going to be fine. Okay? I'm telling you now, you will be okay. I know that it's stressful, and it's really bizarre, and you might be talking to this person and being like, I'm not sure about this. When I got my room assignment coming into my freshman year of college, my dad was like, Melanie, have you called that person yet? Now, I'm gonna date myself a little bit. I got a piece of paper in the mail on which there was a landline phone number for me to call, and I had to call that person. And I didn't reach her directly. I had to speak to her father and leave her a message because my roommate, who was from Montana, was working at the John Deere. My mind went insane. I knew exactly who this person was based on those two details. Similarly, you have probably already stalked your roommate on some version of social media. And based on the photos that you have seen, you have made assumptions about them very similar to the assumptions that I had about my roommate from Montana working at the John Deere. Okay? I got to school. I ended up speaking with her. It was like, okay, yeah, my grandpa got me a microwave for graduation. I'll bring that. You want to bring the fridge? Okay, cool. And we sorted through all those things, which I would encourage you to do. We got here to school, and I was very confused when my roommate was listening to hip-hop music. It's like, where is your country and Western music? You work at the John Deere and you live in Montana. What's going on? Well, I'm telling you this story is so that you understand I made a bunch of assumptions about who she was going to be based on two little details. And what we also know is that you all may or may not talk to this person ahead of time. You will look at their social media because I know you're doing it, and you will have made similar assumptions. Leave that person space to be a whole human being. There are some things about me that people love, and there are things about me that people are not so fond of. But because they love some things about me, they stick with me. And I would encourage you to do the same thing with a roommate. Now, that being said, sometimes you are going to end up in a roommate situation, and you will have given it a real effort, and it just isn't gonna work. And we get that. And for that reason, we have a room change process in place once you arrive here. Some of you are already requesting some room changes just based on, it could be based on a roommate or that you want a different building or whatever the case may be. We're gonna do our best to get to those through the summer, but I can't guarantee we're gonna get to all of them. There's only so much space, the puzzle is complex. But if you get here and it's just not working, we do have a room change process in place so that we can get you to a spot where you're more comfortable. Remember, we care about your academic success, and we know that if your bandwidth is totally taken up by that Easy Mac, you're not gonna be able to focus on what's going on in the classroom. So please reach out to us and let us help you, and reach out to us early. Sometimes there are simple little conversations that can be had that can totally make the difference. And sometimes there can't be. But if you don't reach out to us, we never know. Please don't wait until you're about to explode, because then there's no way we'll possibly get it done fast enough for you, and you're just gonna feel frustrated. So let us help you early on. Okay, get your Eagle card. Who has already submitted their Eagle card form? A few of you, less hands than earlier. Okay, please do that before you arrive on campus. We want to have it printed and in your move-in packet when you get here. That way your food is ready to roll and your access is all set so you can get into your building right away. So please, if you haven't done that yet, there are some QR codes out in the lobby out there. You can click on there, take a super cute selfie of yourself, submit that, and we'll get it all printed up for you, okay? And we'll have it ready for you at move-in. So please do that. I already said, next round of assignments is gonna be in mid-August. Here's the other big question, when is move-in? Move-in happens on Thursday, the 15th of September, and Friday, the 16th. When we send you that email that has your room number in it, there's gonna be a link to sign up for a time slot. You can choose a time on one of those days that you plan to arrive, and we'll get you all moved in. The reason we have you sign up for time is so that we can kind of control the flow of traffic throughout the day, and that means less waiting time for you. We'll have a ton of volunteers ready to carry your stuff up the stairs and get you all set into your room when you get here. So our goal is for that to go as quickly and smoothly as possible. All right, the last thing. Everybody, this is for students and families alike. You're about to do something really brave. If you're a student, you're about to come here and embark on this journey of education and of getting to know people and of really growing and changing who you are. If you are a family member, you're about to let that happen. So everybody, take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. We know that this is a lot. Families, you are going to get some frantic phone calls. I can almost guarantee it. I promise you that whatever version of that story you are getting is a slightly more amped up version, because I know when I call my mom for help, I always talk about, this is so awful. I use tons of hyperbole because my stories are more fun that way, and people can really sense the way I'm feeling. I would encourage you to ask a lot of questions. Ask who your student has reached out to for help. Ask what steps they've taken. Just kind of talk through it. Ask questions, ask questions. If you, through asking those questions, feel like your student is in a situation that feels unmanageable, please reach out to us. We want to be a resource, and we want to help in any way that we can to make this easier. And students, when you come here, congratulations. You've done a big thing, you've gotten this far, and now you're taking this next step into something truly awesome. And we can't wait to be alongside you as you do it. Be brave, do things that you wouldn't have thought you could do. And if things start to go a little sideways, I always say housing is the safest place to make mistakes, because we're here to help you up, no matter what happens. So reach out to us, let us be that for you. And with that, are there any questions? This is a big group, so I know that people a lot of times don't want to ask their question in front of a group this big, which is okay. We'll be at the resource fair as well. But if there are any brave souls out there, if you have a question, I bet 8 other people in this room have the same one. Anyone? Yes? What time are lights out? That's up to you and your roommate. So we are not going to be monitoring your comings and goings and stuff like that. We're not here to be your parent. We are just here to be a support system. But I'm glad you asked that question, because this is one of our biggest roommate squabbles, if you will, that we find. It's a disagreement about who should be up when and who should be asleep when and who should have the TV on when is it appropriate to use a hairdryer, and all of those fun things. So please have a conversation with your roommate about wake-up time and bedtime and how you're going to navigate that, because there's a chance that some of you are not going to align in that, but there's a way to make it work. So that's a good question. Thank you. Any other questions? I see you. Good question. So the question was, do you have to move in at the same time slot as your roommate? And the answer is no. You can come whenever works best for you. Some people like to get there at the same time just because they want to start setting up the room together and figure it out together, but it is by no means required. You can come get your keys whenever works best for you. Yes, here in the middle. Excellent question. Is there anything you can't have in your rooms? Why, yes. There are a number of things you can't have in your room. I would like to start with the obvious. Are you under the age of 21? I think you know where I'm going with this. So that would be one thing. But on a more serious note, most of them have to do with setting things on fire. So candles, no. Anything with an open element. So like not a lot of people are using like a hot plate anymore, but nothing with an open element. So that also means like halogen lamps, anything, you can have like a little coffee pot, But there's a lot of cooking things that we want you to use only in the main kitchen. So like if you're gonna bring an air fryer because you love to reheat your French fries in an air fryer like I do, then that has to be used in the main central kitchen, not in your room. We have a whole list of that stuff. We'll have a list at the table today that you can take a look at. There's also a packing list on our website that has some do's and don'ts. And then when you get your move-in guide with your assignment in September, there will be information on that as well. Yes, down here. Okay, so the question was, is each floor one gender or are they co-ed? So most of our system is co-ed. We have a couple all-female floors, one all-male floor in Pierce, and then we have what we call a gender-inclusive floor, which means that students of any gender identification can live together in any room, but also there's just one bathroom on that floor that anyone can use. So, but other than that, every other space in our buildings, every other floor is co-ed. Yes?
Once we move in, do we have to start sleeping from that day on, or can we move in and then go back home and then come back the next day?
Sure. So the question is, once you move in, do you have to start sleeping in the room right then, or could you come home and come back? Yes, we hold you prisoner in your room. No, you are totally free to come and go as you please. That first few days, though, I would really encourage you to hang around. Maria's team is putting together Welcome Week, and that's a great opportunity. Today is really a chance to make sure all the logistics are taken care of and that you're feeling pretty good about things. But Welcome Week is about buying into campus culture, being a part of it, getting to know what's available to you. And so I'd really encourage you to be here and not go home for those days. But if you need to, you absolutely can. Anyone else? All right. Oh, right here. What did you say? Will the students have to do mandatory COVID testing before they arrive?
COVID testing, so you'll know before.
So, sure. So the question is, will there be mandatory COVID testing upon arrival? We did last year. Right now, we are working with the Spokane County Regional Health District to determine what those requirements are going to be. So we will communicate them as they update us. As you all know, with COVID, things were ever changing, and we've been quite nimble on our toes over the past couple years in shifting and making plans. So we will notify you as soon as possible if that's going to be a requirement. The way that worked last year is that you could get tested on site, or you could come with a test result from within the last, I believe it was 72 hours. So, but we will keep you posted on whether or not that's going to be a requirement. Getting your vaccination information in is a requirement ahead of moving in, so please make sure that you're doing that as soon as possible. Just don't put that off. Make it a thing you don't have to think about anymore. Yes, down here. Okay, so the question is if you're scheduled to move in earlier than the standard move-in date. So here's what I will say. If right now you are a person who's like, oh, moving in earlier, if somebody has not told you this is the date you will move in, you are moving in on the 15th or the 16th. There are very specific situations in which you move in early. In those instances, we will be in communication, whether it be with a coach or an employer. Those are typically the reasons that people move in early, and we'll just coordinate a time for you to arrive and stuff like that. I will say, on the 15th and 16th, there's a lot of hoopla. I mean, there's music and cookies and all kinds of stuff going on. And for people who come in early, there's not so much of that. So we are sorry. We can't do that throughout the summer, but we would encourage you on the 15th and 16th to please come down and get a cookie and enjoy some of the hoopla. Any other questions? Ooh, I see you.
How will parking work?
Parking. Okay, so you should, if you are going to be bringing a car to campus, which you are welcome to do, but please do not feel like it is required for you to do so. You're welcome to bring a car on campus. You will get onto the parking website, which is very clever. It's ewu.edu/parking. You will get on that website, and there is a spot where you can choose to purchase a permit. If you are living in the residence halls, you can specifically say that. If you were to be living in one of our campus apartments, you're also able to specify that at that time, and it'll just walk you through the process. It's not like a physical thing that you have to get and put in your car. You will enter your license plate number, and then they do all of the checking to verify that you're in an appropriate lot based on your license plate number. No other questions? Okay, I see one. Okay, so what are the vaccination requirements? So this is not necessarily my area of expertise, but minimally, I know that the requirements in order to move in are that your MMR is up to date and your COVID vaccine is up to date. And I believe that includes a booster. Okay, and our person from Counseling and Wellness who can very definitively answer said question. So if any of you says, the housing lady said I didn't have to do blah, 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 I will be very upset, and I will hold it against you. So, are there any other housing questions? Yes? The move-in date for the townhouse apartments is September 1st or any date after. Okay, thank you all so much. Welcome.
Round of applause.